A roommate of mine had recently met Christ. He came home one night and he said, things are going to be different. I'm not going to be doing the things with you that we normally do. And he told me that he'd become a Christian. I thought it would be something that would pass in a few weeks, something that he would get over. I actually told him it wouldn't last. But I could begin to see a real change in his life. I mean, there was something beyond just that he was now going to church. I could see an inner change that was working its way outwardly. And so right prior to that, I had gotten to that place where I felt like suicide was the only option, and it took out a .22 caliber pistol to end my life. I was actually sitting on the sofa with the gun pointed to the side of my head when my roommate came home from work early. He works for Dell Computer in Austin, Texas. He would tell you if he were here today that in all the years he worked for his father, he got off work early one day. And it was that day that I was sitting there on my sofa with a gun about to end my life. And I guess it was just a matter literally of weeks before the crusade was taking place in my home city. I wasn't really interested in going to a crusade. Going to church was the last thing on my mind. But at the last minute, I had some plans with a close friend that fell through. I drove up in the parking lot and was actually sitting in the parking lot drinking alcohol, debating as to whether or not I should walk in. I decided I'd walk in late, I'd leave early. No one would know that I ever went. And I walked in and I was completely captured. I was just completely taken in by the power of the gospel. And I so clearly heard in my heart and in my spirit, Jay, this is it for you. You've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and you've pushed me away. You've wanted to live your own life, doing your own thing. And I just folded and really realized the facade of the life that I'd been living, really realized the wickedness of the life that I had been living, and realized that not only was Christ salvation, but He was going to be life that I was looking for. And so that night, I met the King. I mean, I really met Him. It wasn't just a matter of a church thing or a denominational thing. God came in my life and He invaded who I was. Matter of fact, so much so I remember, it so sticks with me, because when I first told my mother, I waited a few days because I didn't want to let her down. I didn't realize at the time that God was truly going to give me the power to overcome some of the addictions in my life. And so that's why I didn't initially tell her. But about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, my mom walked up to me one day and she said, I don't even know who you are. You're not even the same person. You're not the same son that I've raised for 21 years. I mean, God had just completely.
And so the suicide impulse was gone?
Literally just disappeared overnight.
From that day to this, God has launched you in evangelism. You've preached all over America. You've been on all the television programs. And did you ever think that that would come out of your night of receiving Christ?
I would have never dreamed that. 3 nights after I became a Christian, on that Sunday night, there was the big student event. And I got there early, really didn't anticipate that it would be the capacity crowd that it was. I was sitting on about the 3rd row, perfect seat right in the middle of the auditorium. And even though, of course, I'd seen the invitation and the night I got saved, I'd never seen anything like this, because when the invitation was given, there were over 300 students. That it wasn't just 300 students that came forward and just prayed some prayer. I could sense the brokenness, the genuineness of the commitment. And so I turned to my roommate and I said, that's what I'll do with the rest of my life. I just knew that I wanted to help people find the God that I met 3 days before. But no, I never could have envisioned that it would have led to this. But what I found out is that God oftentimes takes some of the greatest struggles, some of the greatest times of pain, and uses those as the greatest tools to reach other people.